Well, I have 7 o'clock, so I think I'm just going to get started.
No worries, no worries. I'm going to bring the camera down here and do this. So whenever you're ready.
Excellent. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our incredible webinar tonight. Hope you have all had a great day today. Our presenter tonight is the incredible Bal. He teaches our continuing education course, supplementation and clinical practice. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Silva. I work with the Institute of Holistic Nutrition in a few different capacities. I work in program advising, communications, and in our continuing education department. I'm going to briefly introduce Bal, and then I'm going to let Bal take over. So Baljinder has been an educator and consultant in the natural health industry for over 20 years. He graduated from the University of Waterloo with a Bachelor of Science degree and the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine with a Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine. For the last 8 years, Bal has been the national educator and consultant for BioLorenco. He does in-office and online training. He educates practitioners, naturopaths, and retailers on the various supplements available. Bal in the past taught in the diploma program, Anatomy and Physiology, and he teaches our supplementation and clinical practice course twice a year. There is an upcoming course in supplementation and clinical practice that starts on May 11th. It runs for 9 Wednesdays, so it finishes on July 6th. The time is 6:30 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time and 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Bal, I will let you take it from here to introduce our topic. So thank you, everyone. And Bal will explain the process for questions for tonight. Again, thank you all so much and enjoy the webinar.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Silva. Much appreciated. A lot of good stuff said about me, all false, but that's fine. I guess you didn't get the memo on that, so no problem. We're good either way. So I'm going to just share my screen really quickly. That way everybody has got the presentation going. Now, so the rules of engagement tonight. Yeah, I will start this lecture. You guys see the presentation up on the screen, hopefully already. The way I like to teach my course, and I'd like to do any of my lectures in most cases outside of pure webinars that I do, I like to do them as a question and answer almost as we go. I believe that if you have a question about whatever I've just said or what's on the screen, the most relevant time to ask that is when it's actually still on the screen and when I'm talking about it. All right, so thank you everyone for coming and joining me tonight. Much appreciated. This is actually a newer topic I've done. I've done many guest lectures and I've repeated some of the topics. This is actually the first time I am doing one on immunity and fighting pathogens. I thought it was an appropriate one to do. So why not? So let's get everybody, thinking about their immunity with everything that we've been through and how to fight any general pathogen. This is obviously not any single topic or any single pathogen we're talking about. We're talking in general for everyone, yourselves. If you are a practitioner, your patients, that's we want to take care of people. If some of you might be working in retail, you'll see some of these products on the shelves there too. So, this is going to be a more general thing on immunity. You're going to learn about the immune system. That's just information about me, but either way, you're going to learn about the immune system and what makes you susceptible to, particular pathogens, so on. And then we're going to look at various supplements. We're going to look at homeopathics. We're going to look at essential oils, and essential oils normally is not brought into the lectures much. And I work for Biotic, as mentioned. In Biotic, we distribute actually homeopathics. We distribute gemotherapies, and we're going to talk about gemotherapies. I'll give you a definition about that later on once we get to it. And and obviously essential oils. So I want to bring the topic of essential oils because they actually are very important and very effective when it comes to immune system support. Okay. So, this is some of the companies you'll see some stuff from, in this. And, I just want you to have a general information, a starting point when it comes to supporting the immune system and also helping fight off and get rid of particular pathogens out of the bodies that are creating havoc for people. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Let's get started off with a quote. A square peg will not fit in a round hole, and a straight wood will not make a wheel. Gauge each material according to its use, for use against its nature brings difficulty. What I'm really trying to say is, listen, you need to know your remedies. You need to know how they differ from everything else. All right. When something says it is for cardiovascular or heart blood pressure, everything says that. So how do the remedies compare? And so you need to have knowledge of all the remedies out there and be able to compare them to see what is the most appropriate fit for that situation. Okay. Because if you use the wrong remedy, either nothing will happen, which that's a good thing in a way. All right. But you can also get some other side effects. It can mix with some other stuff in an adverse way too. But you need to also have a vast knowledge of your remedy selection so that, depending on who's in front of you, you have better options for them, because not everyone can be on the same remedy for every single condition out there. That's what we really call protocols. And I don't believe in protocols because it's all about the individual, right? It is about you that is in front of me that we're talking about and what we're going to be taking care of. It is about your patient that's in front of you, and the next patient will be different. So you need to know your remedies really well if you want to help your patients get on the healing path. So let's talk about the immune system. Many factors can promote or enhance pathogenic invasion. All right. The pathogens have the ability to adapt and hence become resistant to general medications that are out there. Okay. And that is the whole problem with treatment of pathogens through the Western medical model, that's done, that we're actually having issues with antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial resistance. Why? Because of excessive, unwarranted use of antibiotics and antimicrobials. World Health Organization, 2014. Okay. Antibiotic resistance is no longer a prediction for the future. It is happening right now. And it's putting everyone at risk for greater common infections out there. And we've just seen it. We've lived it for the last 2.5 years of something like this. All right. But this is every year. The flu in general creates this issue for people. Right. General infections that just keep going and going and going in people is an issue. Okay. So there's a lot that needs to be done to help the immune system better adapt to what's going on and help the person get over it much better. And, we have some options, but really quickly, a definition. All right. Antibiotic resistance and antimicrobial resistance. So and people kind of use them interchangeably, but in a way they are, but let's get the proper definition anyways. Antibiotic resistance refers specifically to the resistance of antibiotics by the common bacteria that cause the infection, versus antimicrobial resistance, a general broader umbrella term encompassing resistance to drugs to treat infections caused by bacteria that's antibiotic, and other microbes such as parasites, viruses, and fungus. All right. So general antimicrobial resistance, and that's actually what's happening now. We're beyond antibiotic resistance. We're in now antimicrobial resistance, which is going to be a further problem. Okay, what's impacting this resistance? So we look at this in 2000, a write-up in 2002. While it is clear that antibiotics are pivotal in the selection of bacterial resistance, the spread of resistance genes of these bacteria contribute to the problem. So they're adapting. They're adapting big time. Okay. Antibiotic residues can be found in the environment for longer periods of time. And therefore, those bacteria that are just in the common environment are picking this up, and they're becoming more resistant and hence more infective overall when they shouldn't be. And then we've got the other issue, surface antibacterials, now available in many households, which are creating a problem on top of that. Okay, so there's many factors leading to resistance, and we have to basically able to address all of those in a common manner to be able to get beyond this. Now, the issue is that, well, there's only so many antibiotics that are out there that have been studied that can be used. At some point we've run out. And now, really, this is why we're here. We're going to turn to nature to help that, because nature, what it can provide, will do a much better job, I think, in the long run. And this is why I want to talk about essential oils, that they've got this whole ability to wipe out these things without the actual resistance created by the actual antibiotics, because of the fact that this isn't about isolation. Everything we're going to talk about tonight is not about isolation. It's about synergy, giving the whole plant and everything that it provides to give a greater synergy to fight off everything. And that's why it's hard to get antibiotic resistance when it comes to natural substances. Sure, the dosage can be quite high sometimes, the frequency can be pretty high too, but at least it doesn't become resistant. And that's what we'll be looking at. And this is, again, why I said I want to talk about essential oils as part of this thing. So in general, your anatomy, physiology, your immune system, all right? The immune system function is governed by two main defense mechanisms: the cellular immunity. Okay, this is where our T cells and the phagocytes come in. And then we got the humoral immunity, which is within the fluids, so the antibodies and the B cells. The immune function is also heavily dependent on the function of our autonomic nervous system and the endocrine, so closely related. It's all part of it. The body is not isolated in itself. We just talked about antibiotics being isolated in most medication. The body isn't isolated, it's synergistic too. What happens to one part will affect what happens to the other. Okay, so the immune system, made up of a complex network of cells and organs designed to defend us against viruses, bacteria, parasitic infections, and toxic exposure. Just going to quickly say, somebody looks like there's a mic on. If you can do me a favor and turn your mic, just check, make sure your mics are off. Okay. Thank you. So the other thing is lifestyle factors can influence and weaken the immune system. So that includes, of course, our diet, okay, our stress. So all of that is going to be a big factor in all of this. Exercise will, help. And of course, supplements are what we're going to look at. And I'm not going to talk about general supplements by any means. Okay. I'm not going to talk about, zinc. I do talk about vitamin C because I think it's truly important, but the general D, so on. I'm not going to talk about those. Those you already know. They're crucial for all of this. Right. But one of the key factors, of course, is stress. Acute stress, not a big deal. Chronic stress is. Chronic stress plays havoc on your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. And it will always lower the immune activity. Okay. In most cases, we're talking about lowering here, but coming up to allergy season, it can actually make it hyperactive. So stress, depending on what the person's normally used to, all right, it can actually hinder the immunity. So they're catching infections, bacteria, viruses, fungus much faster. or they can go into a hyperactive state, so allergic state. So they're allergic to everything. So whether it is environmental pollens and things like that, all right, or even some sort of food, chronic stress will play a huge factor in all of this, okay? Because it causes inflammation in the system. Okay. Yeah, there's a whole slew of other stuff there, that the chronic stress will do. But if we just talk about hormonal dysregulation, inflammation within the system, and lowered immunity, it means that we actually do have to take care of the stress. It is a huge factor, and everybody is stressed out. Okay. We know this. It's just about how adaptable is someone to their stress. All right. Can they cope with it or not? And if they can't, you're going to see these symptoms pop up, which means you have to do something about the stress and the adrenals and the cortisol level within the body, because it doesn't matter what you try to do for the immunity, doesn't matter what you try to do for the inflammation, okay, or anything else that stress is causing, all the hormonal dysregulation, so on. If you don't take care of and support the adrenals, none of that will truly hold and do the job properly. Okay. And I know we're not going to talk about this, but I'll mention this really quickly, how important this is. Okay. Menopause. Okay. I talk about this in my course, right? Menopause it's really important to, before menopause hits or even andropause hits, to make sure you're supporting the adrenals, because in menopause and andropause, it's the adrenals that are truly producing majority of the hormones that the ovaries were, pre-menopause doing. So if you don't support the adrenals and they're already stressed out, of course, there's going to be greater issues and, symptom range when it comes to menopause. So the same applies to the immune system and chronic inflammation within the system. Make sure you deal with the stress. And I'll be talking about a couple of stress and adrenal support remedies because it is that important. Okay. So the state of one's immune system dictates one's ability to combat infections. Okay. The immune system should be ready to ward off the microbes before they trigger an infection or trigger an allergy. Okay. So not only is it supposed to stop and fight off the infection, it should hopefully be primed enough and strong enough to take care of it before it even causes any issues within the body. Optimal lifestyle. Okay. Even if we do have great exercise, great diet, all right, and great stress control, the body can still be susceptible to acute invasion of bacterial, viral, and fungal infections. So again, that's why we need to support the immune system. We got many tools, natural tools, so many of them. We'll be talking about some of these tonight that can restore the immunity and help fight off pathogens. And that's actually the method we're going to look at. We're going to look at stress, we're going to look at immune tonics, and then we're going to look at antimicrobials. Okay, because that's actually the least of our concern. We should be building someone up to protect them much better, right? So that we don't have to resort to, hopefully, the pathogen, the antimicrobials out there. Again, why do we have this antimicrobial resistance, antibiotic resistance? Because we've given too much preference to those and not supporting the body like we should be. Okay, so we want to work backwards, or what's considered in a way backwards. Okay, it's the proper way to do it. Support the body, support the immunity, and hopefully we don't even have to worry about this infection that's in us, because it'll just basically the body will take care of it before we even know that it's there, before it takes hold of anything. All right. And we got a lot of natural stuff for this. Prevention is so much better than healing because it saves the labor of being sick. Right. This is the art of prevention. This is what we want to do. We want to keep people from being sick. Okay. So let's see how we're going to start off with that. Adrenals. Okay, so whatever we can do for adrenals, this is how we're going to control the stress, manage the stress, really. Okay, it's an adaptogen. We're going to manage the stress. We're going to get rid of fatigue. We're going to help increase the energy. We're going to increase immune function. This is where our adaptogens come in. And this is what you should be looking at to do with them, depending on their stress levels. And there's many different ones out there. I'm going to show you 2 or 3 of them here. All right. Because give or take, they're all doing the same thing. It's a matter of what types of herbs are in there to support it and in what mechanism. Okay. So first one here, Perev Adrenal Pro. So we've got in here tyrosine, but this is where you see this line here says supports thyroid function. This is a dual function remedy here. We got adrenals support, but we also have tyrosine to support the thyroid. So really good for increased energy support. But when it comes to adrenals, ashwagandha, Siberian ginseng, rhodiola, all right, B6, B5, these are all crucial when it comes to adrenal support. I'm pretty sure by now everybody has either been on or have tried rhodiola and or ashwagandha, 2 of the key adaptogenic herbs that are out there that help the body deal with the stress that it's under. Mood support, right? Energy support, immune system support, greater physical and mental performance. This is where this one comes in with the tyrosine. We got the thyroid support and more mental and physical energy. It's very unique to this formula here. But overall, it's your best adaptogen. That's really one of the best adaptogens out there. Now, adaptogens are something that we will take for cycles here. And hopefully we don't have to take them for too long, but you might have to do them for 3 months, maybe 6 months with a little bit of break in there. Depends on how much stress someone is truly under and how much that stress is affecting them. Okay. So dosage, when it comes to any of these supplements, there's what I call a maintenance dosage and a therapeutic dosage. Maintenance is what, it's going to allow them to keep going the way they are in a way of good health, keep them going the way they are. There's truly no pathology or anything like that, but we're going to keep them charged up. Then there's therapeutic, when somebody's completely, in a way, wiped out. If they're adrenal fatigue, closer to, adrenal failure, then we're going to up the dosage to get them up and running faster, right? Take care of the pathology. That's where your therapeutic dose comes in. So we're talking 2 capsules, maintenance might be enough, 2 capsules twice a day to take care of somebody who's got a sleep disorder, immune issues, they've got, depression, they got low energy, anything like that, then we're going to have to take it to the higher. So 2 in the morning, 2 mid-afternoon type of dosage. We don't want to take adrenal stuff too late in the day because it will affect their sleep. Okay. So a wonderful formula in the Perev Adrenal Pro. And then the other one here, Pure Encapsulations ADR formula. All right. Adrenal formula. A little bit different here. Yes, we got Eleuthero. We've got licorice, which is an excellent adrenal support. The only thing about licorice is that long-term high dose of licorice, it can affect the blood pressure and, raise it. So you have to be careful, doing licorice for somebody who does have uncontrolled or unstable high blood pressure. Okay. But otherwise, what we have in this formula on top of that is the glandulars. The bovine or bos taurus, the adrenal gland, all right, that's in there, and the adrenal cortex. So this formula here, herbal and glandular, and there's others out there. There's AOR's OrthoAdapt, which has also got, some of the herbs that we've talked about, plus the adrenal glandulars that are out there. So these are stronger formulas. They really help somebody who's truly weak and they got long-term chronic stress and they need to build this up. They're closer, they're beyond adrenal fatigue. They're closer to adrenal failure. We want to get them up and running. So these are the people that day in, day out, month after month, they've got infections or, they got allergies, just really severe, when it comes to the immune system. So we want to build them up. And this might you're really working when something like this is happening for the immune system for next year. All right, we're going to build them up this year. Let's just say it's allergy season. All right, we're going to build them up this year, so next year it's less of a problem because they're so weak overall. Okay, and of course, vitamin C and also B5, which we talked about in the previous one, are all, and it's in here too. They're adrenal nutrients. So we want overall support, with the glandulars, with the herbs, with the nutrients in here to build the adrenals, to control the inflammation, control and adapt to the stress, and support the immune system. It's crucial that you work on the adrenals. Okay. Now, almost no germ is unconditionally dangerous to man. Its disease-producing ability depends on the body's resistance. That's the immune system. How well we have prepared the immune system to these pathogens is going to affect that person, okay? And how deep is this pathogen going to take in and get embedded and create problems? If we've done a great job with the immune system, along with the adrenals, which we just talked about, then we should actually never get to this ability of getting wiped out from an infection, okay? So some of the best formulas that I think that you may have seen, may have used, okay, for immune modulation is actually probably the best term you can use. We're not boosting the immunity, because that's where echinacea kind of comes in, and we'll look at that echinacea stuff later, because that's about the acute short-term fighting off the infection. We want to all of a sudden, wake up that immune system really quickly to fight off. These are modulators of the immune system. What we're looking at right now in the next couple of things are items or products that will help support the immune system, keep it ready, keep it built up, so that anything that's coming its way, it will have less of a hold on you. It will create less symptoms on you, okay? So that you can basically ride through it without even know you had it, because it never got a chance to settle in and create all the symptoms. Protecting yourself basically from these pathogens, okay? And one of the best ways is, of course, mushroom extracts. Mushrooms are probably some of the best immune tonics you're ever going to find, okay? This one here, you see the different mushrooms that are in here, the agaricus, the cordyceps, the maitake, the shiitake, the corylus, the ganoderma. So all these mushrooms, okay, that are in here, plus what Purica has always got, their Nutracol blend, grapeseed extract and green tea extract for their bioflavonoids, which are very potent circulatory and antioxidant formulas. So extra support for the system. Some of the best mushroom extracts you'll find, okay, to help build that immune system, to help fight off and prevent colds and flus within the system. This is something that you can take throughout the season. 2 to 4 capsules that you can do through the winter season. And you want to start with these usually about a month before the season truly kicks in. Okay, so a good month before. So whether it is your winter time antibacterial, antiviral effect you're trying to, have, or, to ward off, or it's springtime or fall time allergies, you want to start about a month before that person truly has these issues that they're prone to. So, for example, you might be starting in October, November, and you might be doing this throughout the whole season to make sure that there's no issues associated with it. Okay, so you want to be doing this for the season. So for people, it could be November, maybe November all the way to March, that you'll be doing something like this so that they don't catch the flu or anything else that's out there. Okay, there is one other formula from these guys. The Immune 7 is their original, but they have another one called Complete 360. That's with the extra ashwagandha in it, so more adrenal support. Okay, and the lion's mane, so good memory support. But with the ashwagandha and basically these mushrooms, you have that adrenal support plus the immune support that you're looking for. It's an excellent 2-in-1 formula that they've got also. This is one I'm pretty sure everyone has seen, Deep Immune. St. Francis Deep Immune, long-standing formula. It's been out there, helping everyone basically through the whole winter season for a lot of people. All right. 8 adaptogens that are in here, again, mushroom extracts, along with astragalus. Astragalus is one of the key things, and licorice extract. So licorice we talked about as adrenal support, right? Licorice is also an antiviral. Astragalus is one of your best immune adaptogens that are out there, along with the mushroom. So wonderful formula for strengthening the immune system to help keep the body from catching anything. All right, colds and flus, things like that, bacterial, viral infections. So this comes in a liquid or capsules. So normally you're talking about 2 mils or 2 capsules, a couple of times a day. And this is, again, used throughout the season. So the only thing to watch out for, again, if you've got high blood pressure, okay, you do have to be careful of the licorice that's in here. That, if you're going to do this for, 2 to 6 months type of thing, you have to be careful of that if it is uncontrolled blood pressure. In a liquid one, they make the one without licorice also. They labeled it, I think, 50 plus or whatever, but it's without licorice for anybody who does have issues with blood pressure, but it doesn't come in capsules, just in the liquid. Okay. And gemos, and I said we're going to talk about gemos, but I want to give you a quick definition on what the gemos are. A lot of you might not be familiar with gemotherapy. It's a pure botanical medicine, but using the buds and shoots of plants. That when a plant starts to bloom in the springtime, on the plants you see these tiny buds that come up. It's taking those buds, putting them into an extract of alcohol, glycerin, and water. So glycerin, alcohol, water, all at the same time. Most tinctures, like the St. Francis one, is done in alcohol only. Gemotherapy, we're using this triple solvent of glycerin, alcohol, water, because it allows for greater extraction of everything. So gemotherapy is stem cell therapy. Okay. Really, that's the other term for it, of botanical medicine. So it contains everything for that plant to grow, all the nutrients it needs, the growth hormones, the detoxifying agents, the vitamins, minerals that are needed for that plant to grow. That is truly what we're extracting out of these buds. So very powerful, more potent than majority of the botanical medicine that's out there. And we use this, I like to say it's all about rebuilding and restoring the system when it comes to gemotherapy. So this one here is concentrated. There is one that's out there called a D1, so first dilution, which you need 10 times the amount because the dilution factor that's there. These are pure botanicals, concentrated, and you don't need much. So if I go back really quickly, Deep Immune, we talked about here, 2 to 3 mils. So you're talking about 60 to 90 drops a couple times a day. Gemotherapy, you're talking 5 to 15 drops only. So 5 a couple times a day or 15 once a day. So very powerful. You don't need much, and has a great effect on the inside and great energetic effect too, not just a rebuilding and restoring. So ImGem is a complex with 3 gemos in here. Okay. So silver fir, that's the ABs, Rosa canina, the dog rose, and the ribes nigrum black currant. And a lot of people have probably seen the ribes nigrum or black currant, which is really, it's an adaptogen. It helps the body deal with stress overall much better and keeps the inflammation down, things like that. But this formula, the ImGem, is an immune tonic. Okay. It helps build the system up over time. Chronically, like years and years of neglect, or it was, never built up properly. This is where this formula comes in. So we got things that are going to strengthen the defenses, like the Rosa canina, and improve the mucus immunity. So the mucosa, where majority of this stuff enters, is protecting that and making that more resilient. We got Abies alba, which is, building from the bone marrow. So building the system from the beginning when, yeah, if childhood, you've had issues and you've never been well since, Abies alba is wonderful for building the system that's never been built properly. And then ribes, as I said, provides adrenal support, inflammation support, and immune support on top of that, that adaptogenic. So correcting the mucosal immunity, correcting the long-term immunity, and correcting the stress and inflammation. That's where MGEM comes in. And this is, again, something you do seasonally. You'll be doing this maybe 5 drops once a day for kids. You could be doing 5 drops to 10 drops twice a day for adults. Okay, so it just kind of depends. And again, you'll be doing this for 3 months, most likely, and give it a break. And then you could do it longer after that if you need to. A homeopathic as an immune tonic, but now this is a slightly different immunity. This is our lymphatic immunity. So where most of our pathogens come in, the body, the lymphatic system recognizes it, that it's foreign, and then it brings it over to the lymph nodes, which then will go ahead and break it up, phagocytize it, and then display it to the system. So it's neutralizing the first line of defense. That's where this comes in. So Bio93 is excellent for most bacterial, viral infections by neutralizing them very quickly, working through the lymphatic system. So this is actually a glandular. Yes, we got, allium sativa, which is garlic, and we got zinc, but everything else basically is glandulars. Thymus gland, the reticuloendothelial system. We got the bone marrow. We've got lymphatic node, spleen, tonsils. So everything in the lymphatic system that's going to quickly recognize and neutralize. So again, we're priming that particular system. Great for children who chronically get infections, especially in the wintertime. This is easy way to, build their system up, 10 drops twice a day type of thing. Children, maybe even 5 drops twice a day to help build their lymphatic immunity. First line of defense. One thing I didn't say is that you could be mixing and matching. You could be doing this along with, the MGEM if you need to. You can do this, along with, for adults, with the Purica Immune 7 if you want to. So there's really no right or wrong. We can definitely mix things up, but it depends on the person in front of you. This is great for children and easy to do for children. This is great if somebody is on other medications because it's not going to interfere with any of that. All right. So priming the system that's going to eventually quickly get a hold of something, recognize it, and get rid of it. That's where Bio93 comes in. Essential oils. Now, most think that essential oils are in the liquid form for diffusing. Okay, maybe put them into a massage oil type of thing. But we've got capsules of essential oils for internal purposes. Okay, really quickly, I'll mention that Health Canada will not allow you to label a liquid essential oil for internal purposes. Yes, people do it. But health, and we've got essential oil, Pranorom's got essential oils with NPNs on them, and we'll see several of them coming up that are, with an excellent claim for many things, right? But Health Canada will not allow you to do liquids for internal purposes because it's not a measured dosage. But once you put it into a capsule, you can take them internally. And that's where this natural defense comes in. Pranorom's liquid. So basically they're soft gels, so liquid oils on the inside and, a base of oils, general oil. So what we have here is Eucalyptus Radiata, okay, narrow leaf peppermint, and the savory essential oil. Yes, it does have some ginger and clove in there too. It's in the non-medicinals. So what we have here is an antiseptic, an immune regulator, and an immune stimulator. So Eucalyptus Radiata is the immune stimulator, antimicrobials. Savory is the immune regulator. and we got an antiseptic in the clove. So this is something that you can do internally to build the immunity up again for pathogens. Doing 1 or 2 of these tiny pills once a day, if you're just doing maintenance. But if you come across something, you could be doing this about 3 times a day if you need to, not a problem. What we have here are things that are going to build the immunity, fight off infections on top of that. All right. And really good for people who are, been recovering for a while, or they got this lowered immunity. You can do a 2-in-1 here of build their system up and also fight off at the same time. And this is the internal use. So, just with water, or, you want to do these with food always, because of the fact that essential oils can irritate sometimes, but wonderful for building the immune system in an oral form. And then we've got the liquid form that you can actually diffuse, put into an inhaler. And there's inhaler sticks that you can get that, it's easy to take with you, put it into your purse or your pocket, leave it in your car, that you can have to build the immunity. So this formula here has got a couple of things here, the cinnamon camphora, and it's actually known as Ravinsara. And it's got tea tree oil and Moroccan thyme, another immune builder and also antimicrobial essential oil blend. So again, you can inhale this, you can apply this topically or put into a diffuser to help build the immunity for that person. So I think the key thing is, like, we actually have essential oils for fighting off. We'll see those in a bit. These are your immune tonics that also have the ability to, kill off whatever it needs to. But Ravinsara is pretty well one of the strongest and best winter time essential oils that are out there. We'll have a closer look at that later on. Okay. So, just a couple of drops through direct inhalation, probably one of the best ways to keep that immune system up. Okay. So when we look at this thing, we got immune stimulation through the Ravinsara tea tree oil, immune regulation with the Ravinsara and the Moroccan thyme. We got anti-infective, and we got general tonic support on top of that. Okay. So a wonderful blend for immune support. So people who can't swallow the pills, that's where the liquids come in. But I want to break down these essential oils, that we just talked about, and I want you to see their value here and what they do. Eucalyptus Radiata, we saw that in the pills. Okay. You look at this thing and look at the actual therapeutic purposes that it has. Properties: anti-catarrh, expectorant, antiviral, immune stimulant. All right. Very potent for all of this stuff. So we use this guy for weakened immunity, from chronic deficiency. That's why it's in the pills, to build the immune system up. One other thing I want you to know, I'm going to mention this very quickly because it's a whole topic in itself when it comes to essential oils. This is what we call chemotyping. All right, there are active components. This is botanical. So there's actual components in here, biochemical components, that give you these properties used for these indications. So these oxides, or 1,8-cineol, is the key active component in Eucalyptus Radiata, which gives us this. But as I said at the very beginning, this is not about isolation. If it's about isolation, then it will only work for so long before things get used to it and it becomes a problem. It's got a lot more than that. In fact, most essential oils have about 50 different biochemical components. All right, on average, it's about 50, but there's even more in some of those. Okay, that give you this whole synergistic effect to help with so many different things. So yes, it also has the alcohols, the terpenes in here. Then that's why we see the other effects of these essential oils. It's not about the smell when it comes to essential oils. It's about these biochemical components that give you these therapeutic properties. It's a botanical. Okay. So this Eucalyptus Radiata is the essential oil for weakened immunity. It's an immune stimulant, and it's also an expectorant. So you'll see this in many different formulas out there. And Ravinsara, I mentioned this. This was in the Aromavita 93, the liquid. Ravinsara is probably one of the most potent antimicrobial and immune support essential oils out there. So again, 1,8-cineol in here, plus the alcohols, it gives you major antiviral properties, but it's also a neurotonic. So calming the system down. So this is why we'll use it for all these types of infections, okay? Immune deficiency. But look at this, insomnia, depression, anxiety. See that stress that affects it? Ravinsara has this stress support effect that is weakening the immune system. So not only is it supporting the immune system, it's supporting the stress aspect of it, severe nervous and physical fatigue, right? On top of that, this is why Ravinsara is this wonderful essential oil of the winter time. Okay, so I'm giving you the individuals that you could use or the combinations of it when it comes to essential oils, and they got really potent properties overall. So sticking with tonic still, all right, of course, vitamin C. So vitamin C, there's many different types. There's your regular ascorbic acid. There is your buffered vitamin C's. That's where ester C, I think everybody knows, has probably a scene. And then the mineral ascorbates, which are also buffered, but not just a calcium like ester C is, but other minerals. So it gets in through the system a lot easier. Anything that's bound to a mineral, all right, like ester C or the ascorbates here, it becomes naturally time released. So you need less to get the job done. Okay, it's buffered, non-acidic. So, and you got something like this with a whole bunch of other circulatory and antioxidant support to build the immune system. So vitamin C is crucial for the immune system. You need a couple of grams of this overall if you're doing something like this. So, you're talking, 2 to 4 capsules daily type of thing to build the system. But I love a mineral ascorbate because it gives you probably one of the best overall utilized forms of vitamin C out there. Okay. But my favorite vitamin C is a whole food source vitamin C, and that's camu berry. So camu C, it's very misleading when you look at a whole food source or, versus a nutraceutical or pharmaceutically made type of vitamin C. Okay. Like this right here is about 600 milligrams, okay, of vitamin C. All right, 527 of vitamin C basically is what you have in these things overall. Regular ascorbic acid, somebody might be doing about 1,000 milligrams. All right, that's, to me, it's equivalent to one of these capsules because of the fact that this is much easier utilized by the system. But then when you look at a whole food source, camu is the richest source of vitamin C out there. Okay, but it's very misleading. One capsule of 500 milligrams only has 75 to 100 milligrams of whole food vitamin C. All right, the ascorbic acid, if you want to call it. Now you think that's nothing. You need a lot of these, but you don't. When it comes to whole food, it's about everything else that's in there. Natural source of vitamin C, amino acids, all right, and other minerals and vitamins that support its uptake through the system. So you actually need a lot less. So I've always equated the equivalency of one capsule of this at about 75 milligrams of vitamin C to that 600 milligrams of mineral or ester C form to that 1 gram of ascorbic acid. All right. You need a lot less of the whole food source because of all the nutrients in the support and the cofactors are naturally occurring. So there's less wastage, less load on the system, and better utilization of everything for building the immune system, really being one of the key things. So 1 to 2 capsules of this for general support, excellent for building and supporting the immune system. So this is the key stuff that we talked about, along with the adrenals and these tonics that are going to help prevent, hopefully, most of these issues. Now we're going to look at the other side, supporting the body to health. Once a disease has entered the body, all parts which are healthy must fight it, not one alone, but all. Because a disease might mean their common death, nature knows this, and nature attacks the disease with whatever help she can muster. This is when we need everything to help fight off. When it has taken hold, that bacteria, that virus, the fungus, right? Whatever that microbe is, it's now taken over and it's creating all these symptoms. It's weakening, all right? It's causing sinus stuff, the flow, so on, right? And now we need support to help fight off. So when the other stuff either A has not been done properly, all right, or whatever now is coming its way, even though we've done the other stuff, it is so strong that it's almost taken over the body because maybe, hey, we have other lifestyle issues that might need support, right? Now we need to help fight off. So a cold or flu. One of the best formulas, platinum oregano 8. 8 different things in here to act as antimicrobials, a little bit of immune support, drainage support. Oil of oregano, all right? One of the best antimicrobials out there, bacterial, viral, fungal. Garlic, vitamin C, grapeseed extract, zinc, golden seal. Golden seal is a wonderful antiviral and it's a mucolytic, breaking up congestion. All right, that's out there. It's going to give you the effect of echinacea without this major taste issue, but it actually has a greater, I think, overall greater effect on viruses than anything else. And there's also elderberry in here, a great antimicrobial and immune tonic. So when you've got this cold or flu and you got the symptoms, the fever, the chills, the runny nose, the headache, right, the sore throat, all that kind of stuff, this is when you come in with something like platinum oregano 8. So dosage, I want to say one more thing about dosage. Severity dictates frequency. The more severe the situation, the greater the frequency that you do something with. So when you have an acute attack, you also want to treat it in such a way that you want to hit it very hard. It came in hard. Now we have to kick it out really hard too. So really, you're going to be doing 2 capsules about 3, maybe even 4 times a day for a couple of days to get rid of this thing, to help act as antimicrobial of any kind, to get rid of the cold and flu very quickly. Okay, so you have to hit it very hard. So this is one option. Here's another option, working a little bit differently, Perev Cold Pro. Now, here we've got the echinacea, that immune stimulant, when we need to really kickstart that system to fight off when something's there. The other formula, this is where the elderberry, the golden seal, and the oregano kind of came in. Over here, we've got the echinacea in here and the astragalus to do that. And then, of course, there's something in here very unique, the Endographis. I love the Endographis. This is one of the best for the respiratory tract. When you've got something stuck here in the chest, okay, and you're just not getting rid of it, Endographis is wonderful for that, okay, to help get rid of this stuff, move it out much faster. It's an immune tonic, plus it helps move everything out along with the immune stimulants that we have in here. So boosting the immunity to fight off the infection very quickly, but also getting rid of anything that's stuck, the extra mucus that may be stuck in the system, moving that out much faster. So all upper respiratory tract issues, low immunity, colds and flus, sore throats, that's where Cold Pro comes in. And as I said, I think the other formula is stronger, but if you've got a lot of mucus stuck, then Cold Pro will work, I think, in most cases, better. Colloidal silver. There's 10 parts per billion, 20 parts, as in this one, there's as much as 23 parts per million. Okay. Colloidal silver is your general antiseptic. Whether if you've come across something, colloidal silver is a great antibacterial. I think it's a greater antibacterial than an antiviral. So general bacterial infections, okay, colloidal silver is probably a great addition to whatever else you want to do. It will help kill off. It's a great, bacterial, virus, parasites, fungus. All right, but bacteria and fungus, I think that colloidal silver has probably one of the best uses. And you can use this for external too. So if you've got infections on the skin or irritation, things like that, you can actually apply this topically on top of that. And of course, colloidal silver, you can use it for general cleaning around the house. Remember that World Health Organization issue where it's also talking about household cleaners? Well, essential oils and colloidal silver can be used wonderfully, added into whatever you want to help clean up and disinfect. So something that you can change so that you're not affecting the overall environment that's making people antimicrobial resistant. Supporting the body to health. The natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well. When we talk about healing force, all right, we're really talking a lot of the energetics. And this is, again, where the homeopathics and even the essential oils come in. I don't know how much time we got. I got a little bit more to go. Hopefully you guys will stick with me. Okay. I'll do my best to try to speed this up, but we'll see. I'm also going to say that if anybody wants this presentation, if you do have to leave early, you need this presentation. Obviously, there will be a recording of this that you have access to. And if you need the presentation, reach out to me and I will send that presentation off to you. Okay. Okay, so let's get back here. So we're going to be talking about homeopathics, that are great for the actual symptoms. When you have an infection and you want to help get rid of it or deal with it and be more comfortable with it, homeopathics are wonderful. R6 is for influenza, colds, and fever. Okay, so the different homeopathics in here all have a different function, whether it is an anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, helping with the symptoms of the flu, the fever, the chills, the body aches, things like that. That's what we have in the complex of homeopathics that are here. So treating upper respiratory tract infections, usually of bacterial or viral origin, and it helps decrease the inflammation in the serous membranes. That's where the inflammation is. This is why you get the fevers, the chills, the body aches, the postnasal drip, and the stuffiness, and so on. Okay, so eupatorium is great for the chills that's out there, the ferrum phos for the fever that may be there, but aconite for also the chills. Then you've got other things that are going to help get rid of the sneezing and the stuffiness with the gelsemium and the sabadilla. So symptomatic support, R6, can be used with any of our other things we just talked about to help kill off. This is about making the person quicker, giving them quicker recovery. It's probably the best way to put this. Controlling those symptoms, managing those symptoms much better so that they can get up and running much quicker. It works faster based on the frequency you're going to give. And as it says, in an acute case, every 15 to 60 minutes if you need to, especially if that fever is there, the chills are there, you can give it that often to get things under control quickly. It's a great addition to whatever else you may be doing. Pascalucin, echinacea, baptisia, eupatorium, we just saw these things, lachesis and thuya, blood tonics, so helping fight off, helping boost the immunity and speeding up the recovery. So again, immune booster. That's where the echinacea basically comes in, right? Helping fight this thing off much faster. So Pascalucin is, you can use this two ways, as a immune tonic beforehand, but I think it's better still used when you come across something, okay? And you need to ward and just speed up the immune system. That's why it stimulates the immune system when you have something. So again, you can do 10 drops every hour if you need to, if it's really bad, or you can do this, maybe for a week or two at about 10 drops twice a day. So an option over the R6, the homeopathic Pascalucin. These things, 82, Bio82, Bio87, Bio88, these are what we call nosodes. They're actual pathogens made into homeopathic. 82 is a whole bunch of fungus and candida nosodes or pathogens in here. 87 is a bunch of bacterial nosodes. So different types of bacteria, strep, staph, salmonella that are made into homeopathic. And 88 is a bunch of viruses, influenza, Epstein-Barr, um, uh, the herpes virus, things like that that are in here. So depending on what the infection is, if you want to decrease the body's reactivity to that infection, whether it's fungus, bacteria, or virus, right, you can add this in with that Bio 93 we kind of talked about to decrease the body's reactivity to those bacteria. So it will be less severe of a reaction so that you can heal much faster. If it's the influenzainum virus, right, you add Bio 88 into the mix to decrease the body's reactivity, so there's less fevers, chills, body aches, all right, so you can ride through it much faster. This is, again, an addition to whatever else you may be doing. If you know what the actual cause of that infection is, fungus, bacteria, virus, give accordingly to support the system. 10 drops 2 to 3 times a day to help decrease the body's reactivity to those pathogens. Okay, great addition to the Bio 93, really, that we talked about earlier. Now we're going to talk a bunch. This is near the end here. Beginning of the end. A whole bunch of essential oils that are about fighting off the infection. So depending on the infection and what type it is, I will kind of simplify these for you with the key points. All right. And then you can always refer back to the notes that are out there. And of course, we'll find these in formulas. Okay. So let's remind everybody again, it is about the main active molecules that are in here, the biochemical components, the phenols, in this case with the Thymus vulgaris. So the thyme essential oil. All right. It is the cavercols that are giving you, and the thymol that are giving you the key properties of this essential oil for immune purposes. But again, remember, it's just not that one component. It is about all the other components in synergy. Essential oils is a whole new lecture, and I've got some on our website anyways with BioLorenco. If you really want to watch, you can get a login for that and do that. And really talking about the basics of all of these things. In fact, I'm actually doing a lecture tomorrow with Nature Source, all on essential oils. If somebody does want to watch that, you can reach out to me and I'll get you the link for that, or get them to send you the link. But thymus, very strong, broad spectrum anti-infectious agent and an immune stimulant. So bacterial, viral, respiratory diseases. So thymus, if it's in a formula or by itself, is used for broad spectrum microbes, immune stimulant, and lots of respiratory infections. Okay. Now, caution here, always dilute this. So if you're going to put it on the skin, dilute it. You can inhale it just fine. You can put it in a diffuser if you want to. All right. But any type of respiratory disease with a bacterial or viral in nature, okay, with your immune stimulating properties, that's where thymus comes in. So these are pure essential oils. All right. Again, a whole lecture in itself. I'll leave it at that. But for the purpose of broad spectrum. So it's a great general essential oil to have handy. Okay. Oregano. I think everybody knows Moroccan oregano or oregano oil. Okay. Now there is a bit of a difference of the oregano oils that are out there that you can take internally versus a pure essential oil. The other ones that like North American Herbs and Spice, New Roots, Headwind, any of those that are out there, Botanica, they're in an olive oil mixture, all right, with the dropper. So you can't do too much at one time. You'll know if you've done too much. I think everybody's had all of oregano, the burning sensation you get with it, right? These are different. They're not diluted. So this is why we can't say they're truly for internal use. People use them, that's a different story, okay? But mainly for topical application, okay, or inhaling. And it does the same job inhaling as it would almost in a way internally, okay? So the cavercols are the key component that's in all of oregano. Again, very strong, broad spectrum anti-infectious, okay, agent, bacterial, viral, respiratory diseases, but also any other issues within, not just respiratory, through the gut, infections anywhere. antimicrobial immune stimulant, ear, nose, and throat protectant. That's what oil of oregano is. Clove. A lot of people have used clove for really oral infections, gum infections, tooth infections. The terpenic esters or the eugenol that's in here, potent antimicrobial action, but really good on top of that, a pain reliever and an antispasmodic. All right. Yes, it's got antiviral and antiparasitic activity, but we'll use this for skin stuff topically, and you can put it directly onto the gums and the teeth. Okay, mainly the gums. If there is an infection, you're not supposed to take this internally, but you can apply it directly onto that thing. Okay, but this has the extra pain relieving properties. So if somebody also does have an infection, sinus infection where it's totally inflamed and you got, the pain and pressure associated with it, with the clove in the system, you not only have the antimicrobial effect, but you also got that pain relief that's associated there. So not just in the tooth, but anywhere else, it's going to give you the pain relief along with the anti-infectious properties. Rosemary. There's several different rosemaries, and it's a rosemary that is a Senoli chemotype. That's the key active component, right? The 1,8 Senoli. That gives us the anti-catarrh and the anti-expectorant properties of this thing. That's why we'll use this for bronchitis, lung infections, earaches, sinus infections. So this is the essential oil of the lungs because it has an expectorant action. So when something has taken a hold, that bacteria or the virus is there. Now we've got a lot of mucus buildup and we need to get this thing out because it's hindering the breathing, hindering your sleep, because when you lie down, it's all there and you can't breathe properly, right? This is about moving everything up and out. So this is why rosemary will be thrown into a formula, or if that's what they have, they just got a lot of sinus stuff going on and they can't breathe, or they got a lot of lung stuff, whatever hit them and they've got all this stuff sitting there, we want to move it out. Or even asthmatics, right? We got a lot of stuff going on, we want to move that stuff out. Rosemary officinalis, the Senoli, is wonderful for that purpose. Tea tree. Tea tree, powerful broad spectrum antibacterial, not so much as an antiviral, but an antibacterial and an antifungal. So we can use this, inhale this for upper and lower respiratory tract infections, and of course we know about applying this topically for fungal infections. All right, so it's the essential oil for topical and respiratory infections. It's got a great antifungal and it's a great immune stimulant. All right. Antibacterial, antiviral, immune stimulant on top of that. So great topical properties, topical infections. All right. But great antifungal also. So depending on what type of infection somebody has. And you got to remember that when there's chronic sinus infections that are kind of there all year round, usually it turns out it's a fungal infection. So you want to treat that through something like a Bio-82 that we looked at earlier, or other antifungals, because they'll do generally a better job, because it's usually candida that's kind of settled in and not coming out. Okay, so that's when you'd also think of tea tree. And then we've got the Naoli essential oil. This one is the essential oil for bacterial infections. So really important for, as it's antibacterial, staph, really staph infections is wonderful for that. It has got some immune stimulant properties. So chronic respiratory diseases, sinusitis, bronchitis, otitis, which is usually of a bacterial nature, okay, with some immune stimulant properties. Okay, so depending on what we're looking at here, so even some cold sores and hepatitis type of stuff, we can see with this thing. And a little extra here is because of its immune support, and it's also radioprotective. We got a 4-star for radioprotective. Prevents burns caused by radiotherapy. Okay, so if somebody's undergoing, therapy for cancer. And so we got that topical sensitivity, right? You can apply this directly on the actual surface or in a carrier oil to protect the skin. So it does have some other properties on top of that. And we got Chinese cinnamon, broad spectrum, right? Broad spectrum anti-infectious, antifungal, and parasites. So this one here, intestinal infections, is really one of our key things. So if infection is taking a hold and now they've got gut issues going on, all right, infections of all kind, we got tropical fever, parasites, amoeba, malaria. That's when the Chinese cinnamon comes in. Intestinal infections, antimicrobial, dysentery, and also influenza. Okay, so options depending on where it's affecting everyone in the body. And we've already talked about Ravensara before. So this here, natural defense solution, has a lot of these things that we just talked about. Right, narrow leaf peppermint, Eucalyptus radiata, we looked at before. This has got, Eucalyptus globus, rosemary, we just talked about, tea tree, clove, the Ravensara, the Naoli. So this here is probably one of the best overall blends for protection and fighting off through the winter season. So topical, inhalation, diffusion. It's got immune stimulant properties through the various essential oils that are there, antiviral, antimicrobial properties with some of the essential oils, mucolytic and decongestant properties. So again, when you've got infection taking hold and the congestion that's there, we want to help break up this congestion and move it out. So the lavender and the narrow leaf peppermint, eucalyptus, rosemary all help with that when you have that infection. Anti-inflammatory, pain relief. So again, the pressure in the sinuses and the mucous membranes because the inflammation, the pain that it's causing, the essential oils are also supporting that aspect. We have sanitizing ability and also healing. So topical use, if there's issues, we can heal with that. So when we look at this, here's a nice little chart of which ones are doing what. Antiviral, the Eucalyptus radiata, okay, the clove, the Ravensara, the decongestant with the narrow leaf peppermint, the Eucalyptus globus, and the rosemary sonoli, which we talked about, earlier already. Immune stimulant properties with a couple of these things. Sanitizing, but look at the wound healing too. Lavender and the camphor, the wholewood that's there. And we got pain relief through the lavender and the peppermint too. So when we look at it in general, infection-wise, antiviral, antimicrobial, breaking up the congestion, immune support, and also healing and pain relief, this formula has practically everything in there for that. Okay, so great wintertime formula. You can use the individuals depending on where it is, or you can use a formula to make it easy to get things going. Okay, not bad. I think I'm practically done here. So essential oils, again, there's so many uses and how do you can use it. You can, as a inhaler, you can use it. Topical diffusion, you can massage, roll on applicators. There is oral use, but they talk about it more so in Europe than we can in Canada, unless it's already in a pill form. Okay, but there are ways to use them if you know what you're doing with the essential oils. Here's a couple of references. You can reach out to me. I'll tell you how you can get these things or buy the books. All right. This is on Gemotherapies. And the other one here is the on essential oils. Okay. So a couple of references where, a lot of my information is from, really. Okay. All right. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. That's what basically anybody you're listening to about anything, product stuff, your lecture or anything like that. It's not about teaching. It's about opening your mind to think beyond what you know and build on that knowledge. All right. So that's all we're here for. That's all we can do for you. Okay. So every one of the courses that you've taken, that's really all it's about. You don't want to memorize anything. That's not what it's about. All right. If you're memorizing, you cannot apply anything. All right. You need to know this stuff. You want to learn from everyone. You want to learn what's good and what's bad, and how they teach and things like that, and then be able to take what you want out of that and then build on that. Okay. Everybody's just giving their own opinion, really, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm no different in a way. All right. But you want to take whatever you like out of this and build off of that and start thinking for yourself and how you can help yourself, help your patients. All right. By adding one or two things maybe into the mix. And then you can build off of that. Okay. And that brings to why I'm here too tonight. It's about the course that I teach, the supplementation in clinical practice. All right. So this is my course that will be starting, as it was mentioned at the beginning, Wednesdays, 9 Wednesdays in a row, starting May 11th, ending June 6th. That's my basic outline of how I do things. Very easy. One quiz, one assignment, and a lot of attendance. As long as you show up, you're going to do well. Okay. And, my course is very unique. This isn't about your basic stuff at all. It's basically how I teach here, comparative use of the supplements. What's good for inflammation and why, what are the different types that are there and when would you use them? Stress, sleep, immunity, all that kind of stuff. But I work with about 20 companies to bring this course to you. And this is the beauty of why I do this course, because just talking about supplements is one thing, but to use those particular supplements I'm talking about is another. So why, these supplements that are quite limited in my course, because you can't talk about everything, but why they're in there. So these companies, again, are very nice to me. I don't even know how much a course is. Maybe you can, you'll be able to tell us later. This, what you get out of this course outside of the knowledge, hopefully, is all of this stuff. As I said, I work with about 20 companies to bring the course to you. And I think this is what everybody got last year, a goodie bag of all this stuff that you're going to see here. Advantage Health Matters, Alpha Science, BioClinic, Soroil, Dr. Reckwood Guys, Designs for Health, Biomed, Body Plus, Bell Lifestyle Products, Genuine Health, New Roots. There's your Cytomatrix, Innovite, and Canprev guys, Garden of Life. And then we got Purica, Pasco, NFH, and Platinum. So all the stuff that you're seeing on the screen is what the goodie bags are made full of for everybody. I bring in this course in a different way for everybody so that all these key things that I'm talking about, I want you to be able to use them, know them, and see that they actually do work. Because it's limited items that we can talk about in the course, but we're going to talk about things that can give you a start. And by having the products for you to use, share amongst other people, you will see the results, and then you can build off on top of that. Okay. So that's my course that I talk about, that will be starting in May. And your responsibility. All learning is in the learner, not the teacher. We are just given our opinion. All right. If they don't say so, then they're lying to you as far as I'm concerned. I'm telling you, that's all we're giving you. All right. What you want to take from that is up to you. All right. That's all I can say. And hopefully you go out and learn from everyone, learn what's good, learn what's bad, and then build on top of that. All right. So that gives you my information here now. Baljinder Chhoker. There's my email, bscnd@rogers.com. You can text or call me if you got any questions about my course. If you need information and or the notes for this presentation, email me and I will send those out to you. Okay. And then now I think that is the end.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much, Val, for your incredible information. IHN is so lucky to have you teaching this upcoming course. Thank you everyone for joining the webinar tonight. And I wish you all a most wonderful evening and the very, very best of health. Take good care.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And thank you.